So as predicted, Biden announced that he's stepping down and throwing his full support behind Camel Toe Kamala. Now, in light of this, I thought I'd dedicate this entire episode to his amazing accomplishments over the last 3.5 years. With that being said, let's dive right in. Now, these are my top 10. These are in no particular order.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Number 1, and likely the most important, the border crisis. Now, according to Biden and Camel Toe Kamala, the border czar, even though the media refuses to call her that now that they realize that the border is a disaster and they're attempting to inflate her poll numbers. Here's some facts about the border that the media will never show you. Fact: 10 million illegals have entered the United States since Biden took office in 2021. 10 million unvetted illegal immigrants. Fact: every single day, over 10,000 illegals cross the southern border. Now, these are not people just coming from Mexico and Honduras and Ecuador. These are people coming from China, they're coming from Iran, they're coming from all over the globe. For instance, which the media totally ignored, 8 ISIS-connected terrorists were just apprehended by the Department of Homeland Security. 8 ISIS-connected terrorists. All 8 of them came from south of the border. All of them came from the Middle East. Also, we could talk about the sex trafficking and the fentanyl. I mean, we could talk for an hour on the border crisis. Even Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, who's a total leftist loon bag, admitted that the southern border is his number 1 concern right now. Number 2, mortgage rates. When Trump left office, mortgage rates on average were about 2.6%. Now, today, as of 2024, July, the national average is around 7.56%, which is insane. Like, we've never seen this before. As of right now, according to the Google mortgage calculator, a 30-year fixed loan at around $250,000 with an average interest rate of around 7.56 with a credit score between 700 and 719, which is the national average, excluding a high debt-to-income ratio, would be around $1,758 per month. Who the hell can afford that?
They should know the choice between Bidenomics and MAGAnomics. American growth and hope, and we're building, or American lost jobs, raising fears. MAGA Republicans gave us a few short years ago.
Number 3, the Afghanistan withdrawal. I really don't need to elaborate on this. 13 U.S. servicemen were killed. Hundreds of American citizens were left behind, and who knows, most of them were probably tortured, killed, and raped. That's all I have to say about that. Number 4, inflation. According to the CPI, which is how inflation is measured, the Consumer Price Index, the national inflation rate was just over 1% when Trump left office in 2020, and never went higher than 2.3% during his entire tenure. In 2022, under Biden, we saw inflation hit 9.2%, which is insane. Those numbers are according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Number 5, oil. Biden, on day 1, announced a war on oil.
Okay, I have one final question.
Would he close down the oil industry?
It falls.
Would you close down the oil industry?
By the way, I would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I will
that's
transition.
a big statement.
It is a big statement.
That's a
because
big statement.
I would stop.
Why would you do that?
Because the oil industry pollutes significantly.
I see.
Here's the deal. But
That's
you
a
can't
big
do
statement.
that. We have to move toward a net zero emissions.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you
Okay.
remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President.
We told you, when you elected Biden, that gas prices were going to skyrocket. Well, you elected Biden and gas prices skyrocketed. You believed the media when they told you, oh, it's because of COVID. People aren't driving. No, this is actually what really happened. When Biden stepped foot in office, his first week, he shut down construction of the Keystone XL pipeline, which, by the way, killed thousands of jobs, Americans and Canadians. He put regulations on fracking. He put regulations on coal. He stopped all drilling in Anwar, the Arctic National Wildlife Reserve in Alaska. He continued Obama's war on oil in the name of Green New Deal garbage. We told you this was going to happen. You didn't believe us, but that's okay. See, under Trump, we were the net exporter of petroleum on the planet. We were exporting more oil than we were importing. We haven't seen that in 75 years. Trump's oil policies is one of the main reasons why his economy was so successful. 6, spending. We are spending $1 trillion every 3 months under Joe Biden. Okay, now Trump was criticized, rightfully so, for his spending, which is true. Trump was spending about $1 trillion a year. Now, a lot of that is discretionary spending and mandatory spending from Congress, but Trump was responsible. $1 trillion every 3 months under Joe Biden. We've never seen this before. And guess what? You're not seeing any of that money. Number 7, record credit card debt. We have record insolvency. No one can afford to pay their debts. Number 8, Ukraine and wars on every continent. We've sent $260 billion to Ukraine since 2022. That money is not being audited. We don't know where it is. We know most likely Biden and his buddies in Congress, Republicans and Democrats, the Uniparty, are getting a kickback from this money. We don't know what the hell they're doing with it. Obviously, Ukraine's not winning the war. They're getting their ass kicked. They're sending 50-year-olds into battle to die because all the young men are already dead. And yet, we're feeding this. Also, Hezbollah, which is funding Hamas, and Hamas attacked Israel. Now we have a war going on in Israel. Guess what? We're funding both sides of this conflict. Iran was broke under Trump, and now they're alive and well and taking more of your tax dollars to fund more wars. We may see a war between China and Taiwan. Now you have BRICS, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and Iran. You might think, oh, that's only 5 countries. Well, guess what? Those 5 countries make up a higher population than all of NATO. And economically, it's pretty close. Number 9, violent crimes in inner cities. We already know that's happening. Part of it is because of the illegals. The other part is because of the soft on crime policies that Democrats have in place. The defund the police garbage, allowing BLM riots and Antifa riots. Number 10, and my personal favorite, jailing his political dissidents. Nothing screams democracy like jailing your opponent. I mean, there's no question that Biden is attempting to jail his leading political opponent, Donald Trump. He's had thousands of J6ers thrown in prison, some of which 20 plus years, which is absolutely insane, for walking around the Capitol building. Meanwhile, BLM rioters, they're alive and well. How about the Free Palestine protesters that were just spray painting Hamas is coming on national monuments? Well, they're still free as well. But grandmas walking around the Capitol taking pictures, guess what? Your life is over. So there you have it. That's my list. For now, I might do a part 2 of the top 10 accomplishments of the Biden-Harris regime. Hope you guys liked it.